Says China succeeding in its aim to choke Taiwan. Go after the economy with these continuous military drills. Has China succeeded in establishing a new normal with missiles flying over Taiwan and fighter jets and warships crossing the median line? And what next? Joining me from Taipei is Brian Ho, editor, New Blue magazine from Taiwan, and Lieutenant General Syed Hasnain, former Kashmir Corps commander and a keen China watcher. Brian, is China successfully choking Taiwan's economy, trying to bring Taiwan down to its knees by these continuous military drills around Taiwan?
So that remains to be seen. It's too early to see that. And shipping has resumed despite the fact that these drills are taking place. And so there's a question then, what will happen going forward? For China to choke Taiwan off economically, this would take time. China has phrased its actions as a blockade. But would it actually conduct a long-term blockade or a substantive military blockade? That's a different question altogether. I don't think the Taiwanese government would take that sitting down, nor do I think the U.S. would. But I think that it is a question what China's actions now going forward. I mean, it's notable that this takes place in the same time as economic measures by China targeting Taiwan in terms of import blocks or some export blocks. And so I think these two things go hand in hand.
Okay. General Hasnain, how much of this, in your opinion, is optics for domestic audience in China, and how much of this is actually China wargaming the choking of Taiwan or preparation for an actual assault that some argue could take place as early as next 24 months?
Gaurav, there is no doubt about it. China's strategy has always been to follow a line of information psychological warfare. And it has ramped up its forces to ensure that. It got taken by surprise by the Pelosi visit, no doubt, and is now moving and responding to it. I think this will last the better part of a couple of days more. Remember, to take this to the level of an all-out war is not the kind of environment at the moment. And I think President Biden himself has expressed that he's really not concerned. Remember, China has invested $1.74 trillion in the United States. A war with the United States means that amount of money is wiped out from the Chinese economy. It cannot afford to go to war with America today. They are very good in playing these mind games. They are very good in doing brinkmanship. They've done it in Doklam with us. And if you remember in Doklam, this is the kind of war games that they played out in the depth areas in Tibet at that time. They did the same with us in April 2020 in Ladakh. Okay. And in the depth areas also they played out these war games. This is a part of Chinese war strategy. And I don't think this will last beyond the next perhaps 48 to 96 hours.
Okay. Brian, is that also your appreciation? Because some analysts believe China wants to choke the Taiwan Straits for a regime change in Taiwan, bring in a regime more friendly to Beijing.
Yes, that would not be possible. In fact, the drills increase support for the currently ruling Democratic Progressive Party, which is the party historically of Chinese independence. And so this is a way in which China's drills may be aimed at domestic consumption for domestic audiences or to consolidate Xi Jinping's power, but they actually ended up pushing Taiwan's sentiment further away from China. And in a sense, this is counterintuitive to its own aims. I think the drills will continue for some time, but I also agree that this might not go on past this week. China announced on Monday that they would continue past the end time, on Sunday, that they would continue past the originally scheduled end time for the drills, making it unclear as to where they would take place and when they would take place. I think China wants to keep the pressure on Taiwan with this sense of being able to strike or potentially conduct an invasion at any time, or that military drilling can occur. But in reality, China cannot do that. And apart from the effect on U.S.-China economic relations, which would affect China's economy, already slowing before the start of COVID-19, and affected by rolling lockdowns because of COVID-0, efforts to maintain COVID-0, Taiwan and China's economies are interlinked. For example, regarding semiconductors, yes, that China's own supply lines rely on. And so I don't think it goes two-way either in terms of this economic relationship.